Hello, my name is Carmen Dawson. I'm a reporter here at Cloverdale Magnet Middle School. Would you please pronounce and spell your first and last name?
My name is Kay Rainey, Kayerainey.
What is it that what made you come to this function at Cloverdale Magnet Middle School?
Well, I'm the Little Rock School District Parent Involvement Coordinator, and this is just such a great event for parents to come out and get information about reading. Literacy is important, and I'm so happy to see the turnout tonight. It is just really great. I'm glad to see students here participating, and I heard about it through flyers and on the radio, and I'm just glad to be here. Aren't you?
Yes. I hear that you have an event coming up. Would you please share information on that?
Sure. This is the Little Rock School District Parent Institute. It will be held March 13, 2010 at St. Mark Baptist Church, 5722 West 12th Street. Begins at 8 o'clock with continental breakfast. 8:30 begins our general session. We'll have 2 workshop sessions that will provide workshops for parents on how to help their children with literacy and math and other items. We'll have door prizes. The child care is free. The whole event is free, and we're just really excited. Our theme is teamwork will make our dream work. And we know that that's an important part of being good in education. And for children, if you receive the type of education you need to succeed in life. And the event ends at 1 with lunch. And we have some wonderful door prizes to give away. We have exhibitors. We also have a health fair where there will be free screenings. And we want everyone to come out to the Little Rock School District Parent Institute on March 13, 2010 at 8 o'clock.
Okay. That's it for today.
Thank you, and you're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tadashina Bell. I'm here with Cloverdale Magnet Middle School TV. I understand. Can you please state your first name and last name?
Celia Anderson, CeliaAnderson.
I understand that you're a local artist here. What made you write your first book?
You know what? I wanted to be the voice of this generation. I think there are so many people who get this generation wrong, and so I really wanted to tell the stories of this generation accurately, without any of the stereotypes of what people really think we are.
What do you think the students should get from this experience, from having the authors come out to their school?
I think they should understand that whenever you have any degree of fame, you have a certain degree of responsibility as well. And authors are one of the very few people who take on that responsibility. They lead people in a positive direction. I mean, there are a few exceptions, but as far as I'm concerned, for me and for what I do, I always try to be a voice of reason.
At what age did you write your first book?
Oh, wow. You mean the one that's published, or I started writing a long time ago. I was probably in 8th grade when I started writing, and I wrote my first complete manuscript when I was 22 years old, maybe.
So you realized that you wanted to be a writer when you were in 8th grade?
Well, you know what? I'm not for sure if I knew I wanted to be a writer. I just knew that I wrote. And I think I was probably born with the gift of writing, but along the way, so many people talked me out of it. And so it wasn't a matter of figuring out whether I wanted to write or not. It was just a matter of doing what I was put on this earth to do, regardless of what people told me.
Well, thank you for your time. That's all I have to ask you for now.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sakia Allen. I attend Cloverdale Magnet Middle School, and I would like to ask you some questions. This is KCMS, and I would like to ask you, will you pronounce your name and spell your first and last name?
My name is Janice F. Kearney, JANISKEARNEY.
Thank you. Now, as I know, you're one of the most great authors in Little Rock of your book, Cotton Fields, and I would like to ask you, where did you get your imagination of your book?
I think I got my imagination from my dad. My dad was a great storyteller, and I used to sit and listen to him tell stories all the time, and I just absolutely love stories. And even when I was like 5 or 6 years old, I started writing. And I wasn't a big talker, so I wrote instead of talked.
Now, I know you're going to present a little bitty speech to here today, and like to summarize it up, can you give me like a little bit of what you're going to tell everybody today?
I am going to say that I am so happy and I'm so blessed to be here tonight at Family Literacy Night, because literacy is a big passion of mine. I think it is the most important thing for young people. So to be here tonight in the midst of parents and students and educators, I'm just very, very happy. And I'll just say, when I grew up, my father and my mother, who were not educated people, they pushed us to read and to love books. So literacy is very important to me.
Now, I've heard around our school that there are some kids and some moms and dads who cannot read. So what is their advice on learning how to read and write?
Well, my advice is that you never get too old to read. There's a story about a man in his 90s who learned to read in his 90s, and he wrote a book when he turned 90. So there's no excuse. Just because you're 50, 60, 70 years old, you can still learn to read. And I encourage anyone to learn to read because it enriches your life so much.
I would like to thank you for this opportunity, and I hope we do it. I hope you do give advice to young adults and young kids. I'd like to say thank you. I'm done.
Hearn, and that's G-A-R-B-O, and my last name is Hearn. It's H-E-A-R-N-E.
Thank you. So I was just wondering, I think a lot of people here were also wondering, what inspired you to do what you do today?
Well, I was excited to be invited to come here. I am representing my bookstore and art gallery, Pyramid Art Books and Custom Framing in Hearn Fine Art, and we are excited because we are relocating to our new location, and we're opening next Saturday, February 27th, and we wanted to come and share that news. We're moving into the heart of the Dunbar community at the corner of Wright and Chester, and our focus is African American literature and art, and we're also expanding to offer multicultural literature as well.
Okay. What would have inspired you to be a writer today?
Well, actually, I'm not a writer. I'm a bookseller. I love books, and I always love books, and I wanted my children to love books, so I opened a bookstore. And so now they're all grown, but I still love my books, so I'm excited to be around all these authors, because all the authors here today have been featured in my bookstore. So I'm just kind of like, I got the best of both worlds.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Hello, my name is Guadalupe Guido. Can you please say and spell your first and last name?
Yes, it's nice to meet you. I'm Antoinette Brim, A-N-T-O-I-N-E-T-T-E, last name Brim, B-R-I-M.
What book that you wrote, ma'am?
I wrote a collection of poetry called Psalm of the Sunflower.
How many years have you been writing books?
You know, I've been writing since I was 6 years old. However, this is my first published collection, and this particular book took me 7 years to write.
You like poetry?
I love poetry. I think I read my first poem when I was about 6 years old, and even before I really understood what poetry was as a form, I knew I loved it and I wanted to read more of it. So I just kept looking for more poetry to read, and then I started trying to write it, and I've been writing it ever since.
So how many books do you have?
I have one that is published now, and I have two that I've completed that I'm in the final stages of polishing up, revising.
Do you like your job?
Do I like my job? Yes. I teach college, so I have the opportunity to talk about poetry and literature and writing all day long with students, so I love my job.
Like, what places have you gone out of the country or in the country?
Well, When I was younger, as a military child, I went to Turkey. I also have lived around the United States. I lived in Germany for a while. I've been in New Jersey, California, Texas. I visited Massachusetts and, oh my goodness, Vermont. I've been all over. And then also, now that my book has been released, I get to go to a lot of different cities on tour, and I get to meet a lot of really cool people.
Where are you getting from? Like from where you was born?
I was born in Newark, New Jersey. So I have lived here since I was 15, but I traveled around a lot because my folks were in the military.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The poorest family in Gould, Arkansas, and certainly nobody else had as many children as we did. But my parents knew the power, they knew the importance of education. And it wasn't just for us to get grown and make money and become successful in everybody else's eyes, but it was to make us better people, more well-rounded people. People that are able to sit up and talk to anyone and be able to carry on a conversation, to feel good about ourselves. That's what literacy is about. That's what reading and books is about. That's what education is about. I cannot tell you how good I feel tonight to know that you are embracing literacy the way I embrace literacy, the way my parents embraced literacy. This is important. This is important, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. Thank you to Principal Benson. Thank you to the educators. Thank you to my friend Patrick Oliver. Thank you to all of these authors that are here today. Please take time to talk to them. They are sharing their lives and their stories. They're doing us a great credit. So I am happy to be here tonight, and I look forward to talking to some of you a little bit later. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Kerr. My name is Renita Bullard. I'm the Career Orientation and Public Relations Coordinator for Cloverdale, and I am so excited to see so many of you out here tonight to share this evening with us. We will progress now on with the program. We're going to now do the authors' talk and presentations, followed by haiku poems that our students have written. So first we're going to allow one of our English teachers, Miss McCain, Miss McCain Triplett, is her new name. She's going to tell us a little bit about what a haiku poem entails, and then we'll proceed with students introducing authors, followed by a student performing their haiku poetry, and we'll go in that order. So now I'd like to present to you Miss McCain Triplett.
Something that most of us are probably not familiar with. Haiku is an ancient form of poetry, very old, hundreds of years old. It originated in Japan. It's very, very simple. It's only 3 lines. And you can tell it's a haiku because that first line is going to have 5 syllables. Just like in kindergarten when I used to count, we used to learn syllables, we used to clap. So if you see me grading and I'm clapping, that's what I'm doing. The first line has 5 syllables, second line has 7, and the third line has 5 more. Because it's so simple, because it's only 3 lines, it's so short, they usually try and take on a very simple subject matter. It's almost always something around nature, having to do with nature. It's going to be something like a flower, a waterfall, summer, something like that. When I was doing it with my kids, they said things like, I don't see a lot of waterfalls, or I don't see a lot of lakes. And so the newer haikus, the ones that are written more recently, they don't tend to be about flowers or waterfalls or lakes. They tend to be about things we see in our environment. And so when my kids wrote theirs, I asked them to write one about nature and one about something in their environment, and they could choose which one they wanted to put on display. And a lot of them chose to write about things in their neighborhood, noises they hear, kids playing in the street, things like that. I wrote one for them as an example about what I hear every day, what I see every day. and it was, "Where is your homework?" Nah, see, what had happened was, new day, same story. It's very simple, very short subject matter, and later on you'll see some of my students. These are my wonderful students, Ms. Carmen Austin and Tiana Howard, who have volunteered to hold my good name. And then the further classes. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kayla Hunter, and I'm in the 6th grade. I'll be introducing Miss Celia Anderson. She is a graduate of Little Rock Hall High School in U of A, Fayetteville. She was a Lady Razorback basketball player and also played pro basketball in Greece. She is the author of Love Ocean. Let's give a round of applause to Miss Celia Anderson.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure it is to be back in Cloverdale tonight. I absolutely love. I keep raving about what's going on in this school. I absolutely love the students here. I did a school-wide assembly last week. They were very respectful. Not only were they respectful, they asked very insightful questions. They were completely tapped in and they were completely tuned in to the purpose at hand. And so if you will, please give the staff a round of applause for the job they do. Okay. I'm a little razzled, guys, because I just kind of got some bad news, but I'm going to do the best I can in spite of the circumstances. But I live by a law of nature, and those of you who heard me speak last week, you heard me talk about it. And the law is very simple. Whatever it is that you put into your body is going to manifest something on the outside of you. Meaning, if you eat Big Macs, you put them into your body, eventually you're going to see them. You die. That's just kind of the way it works. And when I was in school, when I lived here in Little Rock, all of the guys loved Tupac. And still today, people love Tupac. And they would listen to Tupac all the time. They would put them into their bodies, and then eventually you would see the things that Tupac talked about manifest on the outside of them. They started to wear the bandanas on their head. They started to sag their pants. And the next thing you know, they were saying, "Thug life. All eyes on me. It's me against the world." Well, most of those guys today, they're either dead or they're in jail because it all started with what it was that they put into their bodies. So what I want to thank you guys for tonight is being conscious of what it is that your children are putting into your bodies. Imagine if you replaced those things that would produce negative fruit on the outside of them with positive things like what we have on each one of these tables. If we can get our kids tuned in and tapped into reading and to putting things in their body that was going to produce good fruit, imagine the state of our youth or the state of their futures. Whew. Thank you so much for listening to me. And I'm so sorry, I'm razzled. I'm normally a little bit more on, but who's next? What do I do next, guys? I'm so sorry. I will answer any questions that you have. Do you have a question and answer session at the end? Okay, at the end? Okay, good. Wait, he said you're going to answer questions at the end. Who's next?
My name is Tracy here, and I'm in high school. Flowers blossoming, lilies are very pretty, roses grow daily.
Good evening, my name is Joyce Card, and I'm in the 8th grade. And tonight I will be introducing Ms. Antoinette Bruno. She is a creative, instructive writer at Pulaski Technical College and the mother of 2 wonderful children. She is the author of the book Songs of the Sunflower. So please let's welcome Ms. Antoinette Bruno.
Thank you very, very much. I need to say there are 3 kids because, you know, somebody's going to feel left out. I have 3 wonderful kids. Well, I am so, so happy to have been asked to spend a little bit of time with you tonight talking about something that I think is very, very important, and that, of course, is reading. In my other life, I am a not only creative writing instructor, but I also teach world literature, composition, pretty much all things English. And what I've learned is that students who read well, write well, and they speak well. And if they do all of those things, they'll do very well when they go out into the world. So this is a very, very important event. I was talking to a group of students earlier, and I'll have to echo what Ms. Celia said, is that these students have been amazingly receptive and asking fabulous, insightful questions. That's very, very encouraging to me, because I know when I get them, I'll have good students. But what I also want to say is that when students begin to read, it shapes how they look at their world, okay? And so you want them to be able to see what the world can be, to see past their own circumstances, but to also see people in their circumstances who've made something very beautiful out of their lives. And I was talking earlier to a student who said, you know, when did you start liking poetry? And I thought back to when I read my very first poem. It was one of the Dream Sequence by Langston Hughes. And I really didn't know what, you know, poem was at that time. You know, you're 6, you're just starting to read. You're happy that you can put your little finger across and say the words out loud. But there was something about that poem. And I didn't know what it was, but I knew I wanted to read more of those. And so I found more poetry, and all of these years later, I'm writing poetry and living a very wonderful, poetic life, just seeing all the beautiful metaphors around me. So I want to encourage students to read things they've never read before, to spend time with things that they might think are a little over their head. Because sometimes you'll read a good book of poetry now when you're this age, and then 5 years from now, you'll read it again and it'll mean something else. And 5 more years, when you have a greater frame of reference, you'll read it again. It's like, oh, and it just keeps unfolding and unfolding. So the gift of reading, oh my goodness, it's one of the best gifts that anyone can give to you. So I want to say thank you very much for having me here.
Cloverdale Middle Magnet School, and I'm going to read my haiku today. I'm a bumblebee living in a world of free, searching for honey.
Good evening. My name is Jay Robinson. I am a 6th grader at Cloverdale Magnet Middle School. I am going to be introducing Chauncey Holloman. Chauncey Holloman is founder and owner of Harlem Lyrics greeting cards. She started her business while she was a middle school student. She now has a clothing line and is a student at the University of Central Arkansas. Let's give it up for Chauncey Holloman.
Hello, you guys. How you doing? I'm really glad I was asked to come here today because I really want to talk to you guys not only about the importance of reading and literacy and putting your all into your dreams, but also the possibilities you have in entrepreneurship and starting your own business. So like they said, I started my business at a very young age, and I started my business through writing poetry. Do any of you guys write poems? Okay, a couple of you guys. Well, a lot of people think that poetry as a beautiful art, and it is a beautiful art, but poetry can also easily be a business. And I started writing poems when I was about 10 years old. And little bitty poems that I thought were the best thing now. And I go back and read them and go, ooh, what did I mean by that? What is that word? I've moved on since then, and not only do I continue to write poems, but I've started writing greeting cards in 2005. And if you look inside of a greeting card, when you read the little excerpt, does it usually rhyme? So it's a poem. And so I took what I believe was a talent that was given to me and what was easy to me, and I converted that into a business. Reading is one of the most fundamental things that I possess. It has helped me grow as a business owner because the Donald Trumps of the world and the Bill Gates of the world, they don't come into this world knowing what they know. You read, you research, you find out how you can get into whatever industry you want to get into. And mine happened to be greeting cards. And so I printed out papers after plans, and checked out books after books on how to write a business plan, on how to be a business owner. And I used those books to fuel what I wanted to do in life. And when you have that possession, when you have that ability to not only know how to read, because we all know how to read, but do you do it? Not just to read whatever chapter is due in the next class period at lunch right before you had a test. Going through the page like, okay, now what size am I supposed to do? What chapter is it? You know, you have to do it when you need to know. And you always have to learn. And you always have to be ready to learn. So, I told you guys that I started my business writing poetry. But since then, I do greeting cards, I do notebooks, I do folders, I do bookmarks, I make pens, I make pencils, I make a clothing line, which the t-shirts are being sold in Macy's, and actually this is one of my t-shirts. And not only do I make clothing, but I've also written or co-written two books. And one of them's back there, it's The Richest Kids of America, and the other one is Chicken Soup for the Soul, for the Extraordinary Teen Soul. Have you guys read the Chicken Soup book before? Well, I'm in the teenage version of one of those. And also, I've started to write 2 cartoon series. Reading is one of the biggest gifts that you can possess. And you can convert that into so many different skills that it's really, really important. And I don't mean to just be talking to the students right now. I'm talking to the parents that have taken the time to bring their kids out to this event, because I can't tell you how important my mother was to me. I was young when I started my business. And one time before I came up with the idea of Harlem Lyrics, I came to my mom and I said, hey Mom, I got this great idea. Scented fingernail polish. She looked at me and she said, well, what do you mean by that? I said, well, you know how they have scented markers. I just bought my first pack of, what were they called, Mr. Sketch? The markers where the scent matched the color. I said, why don't they do the same thing with fingernail polish? Nobody likes to smell a fingernail polish. So if it matches it, you know, it'll be really cool. And my mom said, yeah, that is a good idea. But she kind of, you know, brushed it off, and we did whatever we did the next day. And about a month after that, we saw scented fingernail polish in a Hobby Lobby. And I said, see, Mama, I told you that could have been me. And she said, you know what, the next idea that you have, I am going to support you in it fully. And Harlem Lyrics was that last idea. And I have been doing Harlem Lyrics for about 7 years now. And I've been putting my all into it. And not only me, but my mom has been putting her all into supporting me. Because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have been able to accomplish what I've accomplished in life. And the same is true for your children, and your grandchildren, and your nieces, and your nephews. They need someone behind them that they can focus on. Because when they don't know what's going on, you can support them. And one thing I want to do before I go is I want to share with you guys a poem. just to show you what I started from and how I've taken what I believe is my God-given talent and turned it into a profitable business. You guys ready? Okay. This poem is called Life. My life to me is precious and dear, and I will live it to the fullest, not just bring up the rear. You look at me and say you have all the time you need, but indeed you are losing your possibility to succeed. Life. It's just that, the very pattern in which you live on, and you strut around me singing a little Hakuna Matata song. Life. It's just that. You gotta live your life and face your fears and do your goals and make your dreams and do what you need to do and do what you need to succeed. Because life is life. And you walk around me like you tripping. What you been sipping? Walking around me like you been pimping, baby. Life is just that. So live your life. Thank you, guys.
Good evening. My name is Alexis Fudge, and I'm going to read my poem. When I close my eyes, I hear chirping in my ear, close enough to feel. Good evening. My name is Johanna Mahia, and I have the honor to introduce Kareem Moody. Kareem Moody is known for empowering young people to reach for bigger things. He is currently the director of the Success Network at Black Smith Technical College and the author of Raising Them. Now let's welcome Mr. Kareem Moody.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to just tell a story from my book. I started to tell, it's a different one I wanted to tell, but then since things are so pleasant and it looks so good, so many people showed up, I want to tell something a little bit more humorous. And it's a story that just kind of speaks to the power of engaging young people. And I think for all of us, that's why we're here. So I definitely applaud you all for showing up for Family Literacy Night. That's very important. But in this story, I think it's called Bust the Flow. And I wrote this story in response to something that happened to me, and it was really a moving experience for me because I happened to be cutting grass. I had a rental property over off John Barry.
This is Mr. Patrick Holland. Mr. Patrick.
It's too often times we see so much out here that tell us we're not beautiful. You tell them television 24/7.
Announce and spell your first and last name.
Minimize the amount of television our children watch. Minimize the amount of television our children watch, the average television.
Hello, my name is Carmen Nelson, and I'm reporting here at Cloverdale Middle School. Would you please pronounce your first and last name?
My name is Chauncey Holloman, and it's Chauncy. Last name Holloman, Hollloman.
What first started you to become a poet?
I think I first got the idea to become a poet and start reading poetry just because it was easy for me. I was in class and I was in reading poems in school, and I thought, I can do this. And so I went home one day and I asked my mom to buy me a composition notebook, and I had my special poetry writing pen, and just during the night I would get up and write out lines that I liked. And I'd write a line that I like. And afterwards I'd go back and analyze and rhymed with it, and then I eventually became a poet.
For $15 a year.
What made you want to be a business?
How much that a t-shirt cost?
I got better and better at poetry.
Talk to me now.
And one day I read a poem from Langston Hughes. And he's a man who really became famous for his poetry. And I said, well, if he can be famous for writing poems and for being a poet, why can't I? And so I went through a Walgreens and I was looking for a greeting card for my friend years later. And then I saw that none of them were really young and youthful. And so I said, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write poems for young people.
Okay, very quickly, some quick announcement I got. Very quickly, the Parent Institute and Health Fair. Parents, we want you there. The Parent Institute Health Fair, Mrs. Randy from the Parent Institute Little Rock School District asked me to leave this message with you. Genius inside. It will somehow
Hello, my name is Jordan Jenkins, reporting from my name is Jordan Jenkins. Can I please have you to say and spell your first and last name?
My name's Kareem Moody, Kareem Moody.
Thank you. Now, what has inspired you to do what you do today?
I do what I do from a standpoint of working with young people. I'm inspired by just wanting to see people have a chance to be okay. I really like young people progressing in a positive way, and if I can impact that, that's what I want to do. So it's what I was born to do.
Now, I've heard your story about the young person who was using a lot of profanity in his rapping, and how you converted him from doing negative rapping into positive. Now, could you please give me a few more details of how you actually inspired him to do that?
Well, I think it was already in him, and I just engaged him in the conversation, and I didn't just, a lot of times people will hear that type of stuff and just start shaking their head, or they'll say, that's a shame, or kids are this or kids are that. And I just try to challenge myself not to be that guy. And I say, hey, if it's something that I can do to impact this guy, I'm going to try it. So I just engaged and just started the conversation and talked to him.
Okay. So, thank you for this interview. I think that'll be all for today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
So those are the three A's. You know what? And you're the people who look like you wrote books thousands of years ago. You must know that there are libraries with books in them that are
Hello,
more
my
than
name is Carmen
6,000 years old.
I'm a reporter here at Cloverdale Magna Middle School. Would you please say and spell your first and last name?
My name is LaRon McAdoo. First name is capital L-E-R-O-N. My last name is McAdoo, capital M-C, capital A-D-O-O.
Okay, what brings you here today for this event?
Well, I got an email from Mr. Patrick Oliver about this book fair. I had just published my book, The Hip-Optimist, which is a collection of articles that's about hip-hop. So I said, yeah, man, I would love to participate. So I received that call from him later on to say, are you really going to do it? I said I was going to do it. And being a teacher here at Cloverdale once before, it was just like coming home. So that's why I'm here. That's what it is.
What started you to this hip-hop books, writing these hip-hop books?
Well, basically, history has to be documented in order for someone to understand what went on back in the day. A good friend of mine, Curtis Tate, said that they need to have a shotgun shack in a museum because it's a history that will not be preserved if no one talks about it. Hip-hop is a history that will not be preserved unless hip-hoppers talk about it. Someone within the culture talks about it. So that's why I'm talking about it, because anybody else who tries to document it, they don't know what they're talking about.
Well, that's all the questions I have for you today, and thank you for letting me interview you.
You did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Yasmin Sanders. We're here at Cloverdale Middle Magna School at the first annual literacy night. Can you please say your first and last name and spell it?
My first and last name and spell it? Okay, my first name is Patricia, okay, Patricia. My last name is McGraw, Mcgraw.
Okay. My first question is, what inspired you on writing a book?
What inspired me? Life, I think. I have been reading since I was about 3 years old, and so when I was about, I think about 9 or 10, I was voted the editor-in-chief of the South End Elementary newspaper. Okay, so you can sort of say that I've been writing since then. I have written 7 books and about 350 or so literary articles and etc. in various books and journals around the world.
What do you hope that children get out of this experience? What do you hope that children get out of this?
Oh, I hope that they will believe what it is that I say, and that others have said too. I hope that they will believe that, because I believe that they are smart. I believe that they were born smart. And I believe they can be anything that they wish to be on earth. Truly, I really, really believe that. And when I say to them that they are geniuses, I mean that too. You're right. Somebody told me that I was a genius when I was really small, and I believed it, and I lived up to it. And everything that I've ever aspired to become, I have become. I wanted to be an English professor, yeah, and so I became the first English professor who was an African American at UALR. Okay, yeah. Isn't that interesting? So you aspire to be great, and you will be great. It is an automatic thing. We can't help it. We were born of greatness.
How did you come up with your title?
Because of this? Well, as I said earlier, I was standing in the door of no return, okay, in this area. And I was feeling and thinking about my ancestors who were thrust from this door onto slave ships and brought to this land. And I was crying and I was yelling and feeling really bad. And somehow I thought I heard something say my name. It was like, Mfata, Mfata. I believed that I heard something. Okay. And so I said, if it was the ancestors calling to me, I would do something for them. And that thing that I did was to write this book.
Well, thank you for letting me interview you.
You are very welcome. I think that you are an excellent interviewer.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Yasmin Sanders at CMMS TV at the first annual Literacy Night. Can you say and spell your name, please?
Yes, my name is Latoya Hobbs. That's LATOYAHOBBS.
What inspired you on doing art?
Well, mainly people in the community that are around me. A lot of my artwork are people that I know personally. I focus on a lot of the women that have influenced me in my life, family members, friends, and people that I feel are important.
What made you want to work with children?
Well, actually, I met Mr. Patrick Oliver, and he asked me to come help out with the literacy program at the after-school program. I think working with children is very important because children are the future, and as adults, we have to take time to really nurture children and give them an example to follow after.
What do you want children to learn from this experience?
Well, first of all, that they can accomplish anything that they want to as long as they put hard work and put their effort into it. And also the importance of having a good education. Education involves all facets of their lives, and education is really important.
Well, thank you for letting me interview you.
It's been a pleasure.
Hi, I'm Yasmin Sanders at CMMS TV. Can you please say and spell your name?
Angela Green, ANGELAGREEEN.
What inspired you on doing art?
I spent a lot of time by myself. I was the youngest of 7 kids, and my older brothers and sisters, they really didn't want to be bothered with me, so they would go out with their friends and always leave me at home. So I was bored a lot, so I just started to get pencil and paper and just start to draw.
What do you hope to let children get out of this?
I really hope kids really just be determined to excel and to succeed. Be determined to read and just realize that there are no limits. The only limitation is you, and that you can do anything that you put your mind to do.
What inspired you on most of your paintings?
Most of my paintings, I love color, and I love to listen to music while I paint, and I just love color, and that inspires me a lot to when I'm working in my art. I just listen to music, and I just surround myself with different colors in my house, and it provokes energy and creativity within me.
Well, thanks for letting me interview you.
For your child on Tuesday.
Good evening. Welcome to Cloverdale Magnet Middle School. What motivated you to raise your mom?
Well, I was motivated simply by sheer passion just to reach young people. You know, this is something that I feel like I was born to do, and I guess it just kind of spilled out of me. So I was motivated by the young people that I work with on a regular basis.
Oh, tomorrow night, I don't know
How
if
did you
it's okay.
How did you decide to become part of the PARK, which stands for Positive Atmosphere Reaches Kids? Was it something special about the program you liked?
It was, I really bought into the vision. The reason why I wanted to become a part of PARK was because I bought into the vision, I believed in what they were doing, and I thought that I could contribute something to the mission of the program. And so it really was a no-brainer. Since I love working with kids, I love being around kids, and so they had a lot of kids, a lot of opportunity, so I jumped on it.
What inspired you to work with children or young adults, as you call it in the book?
Well, again, I think it's really, for me, it's a lot of it is, I just believe so much in the future of what these young people can be, and so I just know that I have something that can inspire something. And to be honest with you, I really like it when kids come back and they tell me that you made an impact on my life, or you did something that really meant a lot, and I'm addicted. So to be honest with you, it's an addiction. So, yeah.
And for last but not least, what advice would you give us as young adults to be successful in the future?
Well, I say don't rush it. Study, learn, pay attention to everything that's going on around you. Seek counsel from people that are smarter than you, wiser than you, and then just bloom where you're planted, as Miss Maglione would say.
In what way would you recommend us as young adults to stay in school and not fall into drugs or alcohol?
Just use common sense, because you look and see where things get people. You've seen enough people go down the wrong road as a result of that, and then you see people that are doing what you want to do in life. So I just try to encourage people, pay attention. When you see it, you know right from wrong. Just you have the guts to step up and do the right thing.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Moody, for coming here to Cloverdale Magnet Middle School, and we hope to see you soon with new projects for us as young adults.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure. Good job.
Hello, my name is Jordan Jenkins, reporting for KCMS TV. Can I please have you to say and spell your first and last name?
Okay, my first name is Renita, Renitia, Bullard, Bullard.
Thank you. Miss Bullard, what do you hope that kids take from this experience?
This has been such a positive night. I really hope that each student take away the true desire to learn to read more and enjoy reading, because you never know that reading will lead either to a new career choice or just to grow and develop in any subject. Every subject you take, no matter what it is, requires good reading skills. So we hope that tonight more students, more kids, and parents will be inspired to read more, and specifically for tonight, read more books written by Black authors.
Thank you. Now, what would be some of your personal interests in African American authors?
Personally, when I read to my son, I choose books that I think that reflect our life and at the same time reflect some things that I want to expose him to. African American authors usually share their backgrounds and experience, and I want to relay that to my son. His experience growing up is totally different from mine. So going through Black authors' reading and materials, he gets to experience not only my stories, but stories of other African Americans as well.
But what would be your personal choice of an author?
My personal choice tonight? Oh, they're all great authors. I would say the presentation tonight was hands-on. Dr. Patricia McGraw, her presentation tonight was outstanding. She's inspired me to want to read her book.
Thank you. I guess that will be all for today, Ms. Bullard.
Thank you so much for your time.
No, anytime.